general comments from Coach Horton, and then questions for Coach as well as student athletes. Please identify yourself. Coach?
Thanks. We're excited, obviously. Special opportunity for me on a personal basis. I think unreflective of our opponent tonight. I'm sure they typically play better consistent baseball, and some plays got away from them, and commend my Warriors for doing what we asked them to do, is go out and play duck baseball and play to win and get after it, and we certainly did that right from the very first inning. And things were going very smooth, but in championship baseball, whether it's Cal State Fullerton or any other team, including the two teams left in this, to assume that they're just going to roll over and make it easy on you, it's just not going to happen. All the teams in this tournament have the will to win and toughness, and Al got a little out of character, and his mechanics got away from him a little bit for that 5-run inning, but I think it's a testament to the all-time winningest pitcher in the history of Oregon baseball, Alex Cadell, that he was able to will his way deep enough into that game so we can get the ball to Jimmy. And we're just tickled to death to have whatever advantage being 2-0 in a tournament represents. But as we talked about in the locker room, we got a lot of work yet to do if we're going to be the team that advances, whether it's Austin Peay or Cal State Fullerton.
Questions? In front.
Rick Morgan, DuckNews.com. Alex, all-time record-setting win tonight. What's that mean to you? Does it mean anything yet? Will it sink in later on?
Yeah, I think you said it right there. I think later on I'm going to definitely think about it after end of the season. But right now, as far as me and my team, our main concern is, getting this win tonight was huge, and then focusing on tomorrow. And I got to commend the offense for picking me up and scoring runs early, where I had a comfortable lead, and I had a bad inning get away from me, and Jimmy came in and threw well. So,
If I could follow up just to ask about it being in this environment, does that make it that much more special?
definitely, yeah. And a regional with our crowd behind my back the whole entire time, and it's special these past 2 days with the crowd. It's been awesome.
The front.
Taylor Gilbert, College Baseball Insider. Ryan, obviously yesterday wasn't the day you wanted to play. Today, obviously brought some runs and hit some big hits. Was it something different in the approach, just seeing the ball better, or was yesterday just one of those days?
I think it was just slowing it down. I was really out of character yesterday within my my approach at the plate, and today I was able to slow the game down, and I got some swings out of control, I think, too, but I was able to slow things down enough and see the ball well enough for one pitch and be able to get some RBIs and stuff like that and get on the board and help the team.
What about Sammy? Had it?
Of course, Coach Horton's granddaughter.
We made it compensate and adjust. One of my granddaughters, Samantha's favorite player is Ryan Healy, and we've had this deal going on where she sends a good luck video from California, and she's here. And Ryan was a little shook up, and actually it is Sammy's fault that he had a bad game yesterday, because she only had my number on her hand instead of Ryan's. We made the adjustment, and she had Ryan's number and my number. So Samantha Cook's her name.
Jesse.
Jesse Sullivan, Democrat Herald in Albany. Alex, what was your mindset going back out to the mound after Fullerton put up that big number on you?
I just wanted to go out there and throw strikes and try to make them hit me. I think take nothing away from them if they had a big 3-run home run, but I think I put myself in the position to give up those runs, and I think that, not necessarily I didn't have my best stuff, and I tried to just go out there and try to throw strikes and try to make them hit ground balls and do what they do. So.
On the end again, sir.
Coach, obviously you hit the ball a little better today, to say the least. I think yesterday was just nerves, being over pumped up in that first game, getting out of the way, and kind of calm down a little bit today.
Well, nerves and a good left-handed pitcher. Senior from Austin Peay threw a heavy ball. It was 90 miles an hour and kept us off balance. So a little of this, a little of that. I would say that I'm certain that Dylan Floro was not as sharp as he typically is. The guy sitting next to me was not as sharp as he typically is. I've coached a lot of guys that aren't in dial-a-pitch when they get into playoffs and you got 4,000 people and you're trying to win, and It might look easy from the dugout or the stands, but it's not as easy as it looks. And we talk about Al being a seasoned veteran, but Al is. Did you pitch in Connecticut?
Yeah, at the last game.
See? No, I'm teasing about that. The human nature part of it, we thought our ball club was in good control tonight. And then we had a good balance and fun and energy and aggression. And certainly, if we can continue with that personality and not catch ourselves trying too hard to win, which is the obvious thing that everybody wants to do, it does give you the best chance. So hopefully we can show up with the same personality tomorrow. There's no guarantee that we're going to win, but it just gives us the best chance.
Jen, do you have a question?
Kimberly, Comcast Sportsnet. George, can you talk about how big that first inning was offensively for your team?
Well, critical. We got the fans, and I was a little surprised we didn't have more fans than last night. I gave the fans, and I believe this, it's one of the advantages to hosting. Boy, when they get into that duck rhythm, it's pretty spectacular when it's energy generated to the home team. And it got them in it, and then I think we all had repelling rope in there when they rolled the 5, and the fans got a little bit quiet. So the ability to extend there was critical in the 8th inning, turning a 1-run lead into a 2 turns the whole complexion of how you play defense and late in the game. And it could have been a crooked number there too, but just the ability to get 1, if you're on the other side of that, chasing 2 is a lot more difficult than chasing 1. So I thought we caught ourselves and got back to it, and we were repelling a little bit, like holding on, and then we went after again, because they were they were coming after us, as we all saw.
Robbie Boyson, EDUP. Coach Vanderhook said that the team was a little bit overly pumped up, and that could have affected their play. Was there any sense of that on your side, either before the game or after maybe the 5-run inning at any point during the game?
Not today, and not yesterday, really. We experienced that last weekend and recognized it, and I asked him not to do that again, but I did also ask him to just be real and authentic, and if it was over-pumped or overzealous, we'll go with that too. To mask things or pretend like you're not excited is ridiculous. I keep reminding them, not because of who we were competing against, but just because of the importance of Game 2 in a double elimination tournament or playoff baseball. I get awful excited as well. I might not look like it, and I've been through a lot. I've been blessed enough to be through a lot of them thanks to the administration at Cal State Fullerton. But I still get awfully excited, and when like I said last night, when I stop getting that feeling, that for me, it's almost I don't use drugs. I don't commend our guys to use drugs, but that adrenaline competitive drug is something I'd like to be a part of my life for as long as I still have that feeling. There's nothing better than being in a dugout in a dogfight.
Phil?
Phil Milani, Kid on TV. What does it mean for you to be able to do this against Fullerton?
Like I said last night, it's extra special because of the respect that I have for the entire institution. It's my alma mater. There's guys that I fought very, very hard for, parents of their players. Some of their players were bat boys for me. Rick Vanderhook, Chad Baum, Kirk Sarlos, and Mike Kirby. I love those guys to death. They're tremendous coaches. They made me better. They're great human beings. Those athletes are blessed to be playing for them. And when you can, it's only one game, but the ability to develop our team, that I said to my players before the game, I said, hey, look, this isn't about Rick Vanderhook and George Horton. Because we're both old and fat and can't run and we're bad athletes, and if we were playing against each other, nobody would have been in the stands. So the players are always going to determine that. You do the best you can to prepare your players, and I guess the good news is for tonight, our players did just enough better stuff than their players. I'm proud that those guys are leading one of the nation's nation's finest programs. They deserve it, and that program is in very good hands.
Any secrets, out there?
Well, you could see they changed their signs. If you notice that little cat and mouse stuff, and we caught Coach Vanderhook on Facebook out by the deal doing this. I'm sure they worked on changing their signs so we wouldn't know them. And unfortunately, in the early innings, they didn't know them. So that's what happens when you play somebody you love and know a lot about. Quite honestly, we changed a couple too. So we'll see.
Coach, you talked a lot about wanting your guys to go one pitch at a time, be grinders, be present. How happy were you after that big inning in the first that your guys didn't get complacent and came back in that second and squared off another run?
Yeah, I mean, the way the game started, there was an out available, and we didn't get it, and Al picked up the athlete that didn't get that, and I'm not going to mention any names, but that's what you do in baseball. You know, it's the same mental toughness and sports psych tools that we're aware of and try to, the language we talk, the way we teach our guys, and they use it in the classroom as in their personal lives, and I use it too for stress reduction things, and they have the same bit of information we do. Really, it's just like hitting, pitching, fielding. The athlete and team that does it the most successful, and I guess what Coach Vanderhook said is they were a little, I'm sure he used the term gooned out, pretty sure, and they were overexcited. He's been in a dugout lots of times with me and has recognized that, and all those coaches, they get it. But it's still, again, I go back to it's up to the athletes to get control of themselves. And when enough athletes get control of themselves, then the body of work, the team, has a pretty good competitive balance. Easier said than done when you're really excited.
Eric Dalton, George, first thing that Coach Vanderhook said when he came in here is that you guys kicked their butts and beat them you guys beat them in every aspect of the game. Did you feel like that from your perspective that you guys dominated this game?
We didn't throw as many strikes as we usually do. 8 free bases is not or whatever it was, 7 or 8, and we had that last night too. And you're playing with matches around a gasoline tank when you give playoff opponents 8 free bases. The good news is we got some double plays in between that. The bad news is that Lorenzen got one up and hit it over the fence after some free bases. So that's when the match hits the gasoline. And like I said, very uncharacteristic of Alex. I didn't call any more difficult game than what he's capable of doing. And Alex, as he is, took responsibility for that and kind of apologized to me for that. I said, "What are you doing? You know, I've made mistakes, and some of my best pitchers." I told him the story of a guy in '95 when I was coaching pitchers at Cal State Fullerton, a guy named Ted Silva that was getting just his rear end handed to him from USC in a national championship game. Teddy had a pretty good year. He was 18-1 with 6 saves, and so he didn't have that happen to him very much, and then he just turned it up a notch like Alex did today and got us deep enough into the game where we could turn the ball over to another All-American closer, a center fielder named Mark Kotze, and I have a ring at home because of that. That's what Warriors do. It doesn't have to be perfect, and the good big league pitchers don't always pitch and dial a pitch. Sometimes they have to take their B game and find a way to get it done, and that's what our Warrior here on my left was successful in doing.
Yes. On KMTR, the first inning when Payne went to third, did you send him, or did he just kind of do that on his own?
Remind me of that play again?
For, when the pass ball and pick off, and he went all the way to third base, had the collision that kind of started the inning off?
That's Coach Ullman. He had a little sneaky sign that he wheeled him, and that was a hard-nosed baseball play. You know, their guy went into the running lane, and Aaron hit face first into his knee. By the time I got out there, which takes a while, you see me waddle out there, but he had a little blood coming out of his nose and mouth and a little blurry vision, and he just smiled at me and said, "This is great, Coach." That's who we're talking about. He's a Warrior.
Do you have a question, Bob?
George, Jake Reed tomorrow, and how important is it with the lack of depth you have pitching wise to maybe try to finish it Sunday and not have to come back here Monday night?
Well, the first reason to finish it is I'll be really happy. The team will be really happy. We are going with Reed. Jake Reed, his objective will be to pitch as good as Jake Reed can. I'm sure being a freshman and as much things as he's been through, I'm not sure he's going to get as much REM sleep as he normally does with the anticipation. I was in the locker and I said, Jake, you're going to throw strikes, and he almost jumped out of his chair. Can I go right now? And I said, no, it's not until tomorrow at 4, Jake. And but you know, if we don't get it done, then we'll select the best guy that's available and fresh to give us the best opportunity. Usually in these things, if you're successful, somebody does something that's out of the ordinary, and if we happen to get to that extra game, that's kind of what's probably going to happen. So let's just draw it up that Jake Reed really pitches well, we win, and we start planning for next week. How about that?
Phil?
Ryan, how much did it play into a factor that you guys were going up against Thornton's old team, and how much did you want to win it for him?
You know, we got asked that a lot throughout the week, right after we got announced of where we're playing and stuff and who's coming to our regional. And the first question they asked is, oh, what about Fullerton? And the first thing I said was, we got Austin Peay first, so I can't really think about Fullerton. But I think there's a lot of emotions that are underneath for him that he's not showing. And I think it was a big step for us, you know, beat his ex-alma mater and stuff. And it was just a great team win and very exciting for us.
Two questions.
Kyle Thompson, LoadUps.com. Wondering if you feel comfortable pitching Jimmy Sherfy tomorrow and when you will bring him in.
Well, that'll be Jimmy's call, based on how he feels. He ended up, I think, with 30 today. Yeah, I was so excited I didn't write it down. I have good help, Coach Stiles and so forth, and, you know, 2 innings off of 24 pitches the night before and an inning plus. He's got kind of a rubber arm. You know, he's done crazy stuff for us, including 110 pitches in relief in Hawaii in our first series of the game. You know, he was more acclimated to that. Jimmy's got a bright future. The last thing we want to do is hurt him. He almost demanded the ball. He knows that we're a little thin. We called down to Coach Stiles, who was loosening him up. He says he's good for 2, and he was awfully good tonight. So it'll be up to Jimmy, and you know, excitement and winning and championships and regional championships. What you hope not to do as a coach is to threaten the health of any young man, whether they have a professional future or not. Jimmy Sherfy not only is a good pitcher, he's got a professional future. So we'll err on the side of making sure we don't hurt him. He'll want the ball, though, I can almost guarantee you.
Anything else? Okay, one more.
Isaac Rosenwald from the Daily Emerald. You have the opportunity tomorrow, obviously playing either Austin Peay or Fullerton. It's going to be a rematch either way. Do you have a preference on who you'd like to play?
I have no disrespect for Austin Peay, and this has nothing to do with who we think would be easier for us to compete against. Absolutely nothing. But I'd like Fullerton to win tomorrow because those are my guys, and I'm rooting for them.
Thank you.